The Mid-American Conference to become the first conference at college football level to cancel the 2020 season.
The conference will postpone the fall seasons. This is a collective decision and a unified decision of the Mid-American Conference. It's a bitter one, but we believe it's the right one based on the medical advice we've been getting from our medical advisory board.
Will student athletes be allowed to participate in collegiate sports?
Athletes all across the MAC, including former Springfield standout and current Rocket Bryant Koback, took to social media urging the conference to reconsider playing sports in the fall. All posts included #WeWantToPlay.
The reverse, it's Hall. Oh man, holy cow! If you want it ready, steady, go. Fight the good fight because this is war. We won't go out without a fight.
Batted down into the air. Is it intercepted by Cosby? It is.
Flip throws over the middle for Riley Miller, and it's almost intercepted. No, Riley Miller catches it.
Wanna stand up if you getting down. Put up your fists if you with it now. We them big hitters, so brace yourself. Just another notch up on the belt. Born for greatness, man. Born for greatness, man. Born for greatness, man. Let me know if you ready to get dollars, holler, come we wildin' out. If you with it, ready, steady, go. Fight the good fight because this is war. 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 Yeah. Born for greatness, man.
We must win this game. Onward now, you Cardinals. Glory to your name. Fight, fight, fight. Here's to both our colors, Cardinal and white. Here's to a victory. So fight, 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 fight.
Welcome to Ball State University in the new SportsLink Live studio space. I'm Seamus Crider, and this is SportsLink Live, and we figured to kick off this SL Live series, we'd bring in the head coach of Ball State football, Mike Neu. Welcome in.
Thank you. This is an unbelievable facility. I love it. And obviously, that was a great intro video there. I had chills there watching that.
We're just 8 days away from Ball State football getting underway. It's been quite a whirlwind, to say the least, over the last couple of months. You were not expecting a season in the fall. What changes have you made to get this team ready for Miami?
There's definitely been a lot of emotion since back in August when the announcement was made that we were not going to play football. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, but most importantly, really proud of our team, proud of our guys for just staying positive. Working every single day, knowing that one day, somewhere down the road, we're going to return to the field. Back then, we did not know what day that would be. So just proud of the effort, the work that's gone into it. And then once the announcement was made that we were going to return to play, it was going to be a 6-game conference schedule with a championship game, is really the focus shifted to how are we going to get our guys ready again. We haven't practiced forever. They really haven't trained like we normally train. So really wanted to make sure we had a smart plan in place to get the guys worked back up to where they needed to be in order to play a game, high intensity. So it's been a great, last 3-4 weeks here for us to get ready, and certainly we're inching closer and closer here to being able to kick things off.
Now, what is it like as a coach in this situation? Because, I mean, you didn't have that much contact with these players, no spring ball, of course. It's just such a condensed schedule. What has that been like from your perspective? Yeah,
there's things that we had to do different. You took away a lot of meeting time. You value the meeting time to make sure you get the guys ready to go from an X's and an O's standpoint. But we had to take advantage of Zoom meetings. We were in the Zoom world forever, and our guys did a good job being locked in and focused as much as you can ask them to be. And then when we got on the field, every day is something new presents itself. We get tested 4 days a week, and we've been through the scenarios already where we've missed a player for practice, we've missed a coach for practice, we've missed a staff member. So everybody has to pick up multiple duties in the event something like that happens once we get to a game. And so tried to put some of those scenarios in place in practice to give guys some added responsibility to make sure if it does happen, that we're not caught off guard. So a lot of preparation that's gone into it, but feel great about, each and every day. We feel more and more confident and ready to go.
You talk about the next man up mentality. This year is going to be one of the best years in Ball State football in a long time. It's been a steady incline since you took over 4 years ago, entering your 5th season. This team is bringing back most of the talent. What are you most excited to see out of this team, considering you haven't seen them play in quite a while?
Yeah, and obviously I love to hear your excitement because I share in that excitement. I'm fired up about this team. Proud of the seniors, and we got 22 seniors on this team that have been through a lot of growing pains. They really set the foundation, the hard work that's gone into it over the years. We've gotten better and better each and every year. We were in a lot of close games a year ago that were decided late in games, and so those were hard to swallow this offseason. Our guys used that as motivation, making sure we know, man, we're where we need to be. Now we got to deliver, and really that's what it's about for us. Those close games, our experience, our depth, we're going to be able to be in that position again, knowing that we're confident enough to deliver when the opportunity presents itself. So really proud, though, of just this group of guys staying together, being positive, putting in the work it takes to be successful, and feel very confident that this is a great opportunity for this team this year to make a run at it.
I first want to go into the X's and O's now and talk about the offense first, because the offense last year was amazing. Drew Plitt threw for almost 3,000 yards, rather only threw 7 picks, and then the rushing game was quite amazing with Caleb Huntley returning this year as well. Where can this offense go? Because they're already averaging 35 points a game, and what do you see as the ceiling?
Well, I think the challenge for us is just because those things happened a year ago just doesn't automatically assume or expect that it's going to happen again this year. We got to put the work in. I love our team, our weapons. Obviously, the biggest challenge that we'll have is replacing a guy like Danny Penner. Danny was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. Those are big shoes to fill, but Coach Johnson, our offensive line coach, has done a great job. We're expecting, Jalen Turner, that's been here for a couple of years, waiting his turn. He's chomping at the bit, so he'll be able to step in there and make a couple moves up front to get the best 5 guys on the field. But it all starts in the trenches for us to be able to have good balance, run the ball with a guy like Caleb Huntley, and then be able to throw it. And Drew Plitt going into his 2nd year now as a starter, his confidence, his command, his leadership has been extremely noticeable once we started back to practice. And I know he's itching to deliver in some of those critical moments like we had a year ago, and he's done a great job of leading this team. Justin Hall, Johannes Tyler, Antoine Davis. I mean, we got some good weapons there to surround him with, and again, we strive to have great balance, and let's take the next step. We did a lot of good things last year, but let's be great offensively, and I think that's been the big challenge for us since we've been back practicing.
A lot of talent returning this year, but you lost Riley Miller on the offensive end as a wide receiver. Who were some of those newcomers to replace some of the guys that graduated and left, like Walter Fletcher as well? Who were some of those new guys that you're expected to play a big role this year?
Yeah, no question, replacing a guy like Riley Miller too, in addition to a Danny Penner. Riley's had a tremendous career here. Johannes Tyler played a lot, kind of in a sharing a role or in a backup type role to Riley for the last couple of years. So now it's his time. He had a great game to finish the year against Miami. And so obviously he's built on that momentum that he had in that game, and he's going to step in and really take on a lot of that role that Riley vacated there. You talk about Walter Fletcher, Ty Evans, Will Jones, a young guy, and Donnie Marcus. I mean, we got some guys that running back room offers a lot of different types of players at that position. So we'll take advantage of each one of their skill sets, put them in a position to have success. But certainly, we lost some good weapons there, but we feel strong about our recruiting efforts and getting some guys in here to take on some of those roles that have been left by those guys.
We have a change in the offensive coordinator room this year with Joey Lynch exiting, Kevin Lynch entering. What does Kevin bring that Joey doesn't?
Yeah, and we've been around, Kevin's been here since the beginning with us, much the same way as Joey had, and Kevin's been, obviously preparing himself for an opportunity like this. And so, each guy is his own, and even though they share the same last name, Kevin's been working with the running backs, and he's done a great job. We're going to be very similar to what we've been, last year and perhaps even a little bit the year before, but we continue to evolve and progress, and we'll add a few wrinkles and adjustments, and because each team's different, and still the goal is making sure that we're taking advantage of the weapons that we have. And Kevin's brought a great perspective that way. He's brought in a few new wrinkles as well, and so he's done a great job, and I'm happy for him to see him take on this opportunity.
Talking about Drew Plitt, back to Plitt. You were a quarterbacks coach for a long time prior to taking the head coaching position here at Ball State. What drew you to Drew, and what made him ascend so quickly? Because he has gone from the 4th quarterback in the roster his redshirt freshman year all the way up to starter and now one of the MAC's best.
Yeah, there is no substitute for hard work, and Drew Plitt committed himself to the process back when he was a young guy here. There was many times when I would walk down the hallway and I would see him in a room, a dark room, watching film, studying, making sure that he was doing a good job of staying in tune with what we do offensively, knowing that one day that hard work that he was putting in was going to pay off in an opportunity like it has for him. And so he is such a tremendous competitor. He's an extremely quick processor. So at the line of scrimmage, he processes things so quickly. He can get us in and out of plays versus ideal looks. I give him the freedom at the line of scrimmage to make some adjustments, different route, get us into the optimal run look. And he's been working so hard. And even though he was a starter last year, going into the season, he's been a preseason all-conference selection here at quarterback. But he's got a lot still to prove, and he knows that, and he's chomping at the bit to lead this team to a championship. It's been a long time since we've won an outright MAC title, and so he's chomping at the bit to solidify his place in the history of Ball State football.
Drew Plitt is going to be leading his Cardinals all season long. We're just 8 days away from the start of MAC football. Ball State going up against Miami next Wednesday. When we come back, we'll talk to head coach Mike Neu about the defensive side of the football. This is SportsLink Live.
Victory Honda of Muncie is proud to support the student athletes at Ball State and the students in SportsLink. For more info, visit victorymuncie.com.
It's been a long time since you've been on my mind. What's a man to do? Spent the whole day thinking about the times I've walked away from you.
Inspiring athletes, creative storytellers, Emmy Award winners. The best stories in Ball State sports, only from SportsLink.
Want more? Then come into Victory Honda of Muncie today. We need your trade immediately, so your vehicle is worth more than ever. How much more? Go to victorymuncie.com and click Value Your Trade to get your trade value in seconds. Print it out, bring it in, and get 125% of the book value. It's that easy. We want your vehicle as is, any condition, any mileage. So come in today and see how you get more here at Victory Honda.
The national leader in digital sports production is in Ball State's College of Communication, Information, and Media. The best stories in Ball State sports, the best professionals in sports media contributing, and live productions to ESPN platforms from day one. This is Ball State SportsLink.
Welcome back to SportsLink Live, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. We're chatting with Mike Neu, head football coach, entering his 5th season on the job. Mike, let's talk about the defense now. Defense was a trouble spot last year, but there were some upswings, especially in the secondary. What are your main goals this year for that side of the football?
We got to play team defense. Last year we improved significantly against the run. 60 yards a game we improved against the run. Tyler Stockton did a tremendous job last year as a run game coordinator and also as the inside linebacker coach. And so the challenge for us now is we got to play complete team defense. We got to be good against the run. When we get into obvious passing situations, we got to be able to get after the quarterback. That helps when you're talking about the back end with the safeties and the corners. You can get a pass rush on the quarterback, it makes their job easier on the back end. So we got to improve in that respect first. Obviously, we returned a lot of key pieces there. All conference corners, all conference linebackers, safeties, and Bryce Cosby, Brett Anderson, that have played a lot of football around here. So feel really good about our depth, our experience. Now we got to make sure that we make some key improvements up front to be able to get after the quarterback.
One of the main things that we are looking for this year are the new additions to that front line. You're bringing in 2 graduate transfers, Chris Adjumang from Sacred Heart and then Anthony Ekpe from Rice. What drew your attention to those 2?
Yeah, and obviously Coach Stockton and the defensive staff and our recruiting department did a great job of identifying a guy like Chris Adjumang. Chris was an All-American at Sacred Heart. He's got tremendous size, 6'4", 285 pounds, and to have his presence in there, that's a big man. And obviously we feel like he's versatile. He's good against a run. He's good against a pass on the interior. It can't just always be on the edge, and Chris provides a good pass rush and a lot in terms of a pass rush ability from the inside. You know, Anthony Ekpe that we brought in from Rice, Anthony is kind of a Swiss Army knife for us defensively. We're going to move him all over the place. He had great production in his career at Rice as far as sack production, hits on the quarterback. I mean, he's a guy that's, you know, since he's been here on the practice field, his intelligence has really stood out. We moved him all over the place, and he's going to be a guy that is going to be very critical for us in terms of that pass rush package, whether it's third down or an obvious passing situation. So really excited about the addition of those 2 guys along the front 7 there, because we are, you know, obviously Christian Albright, Jordan Williams, those are guys that have played a lot of good football here. Christian's been an all-conference player here, and so we're excited because those key additions by those guys is going to provide a lot for us in terms of being able to improve in that department.
Adding those 2 graduate transfers, you get a lot of seniority as well on this team. Who are some of the leaders that have gone out of the mud per se for this team, because this is a veteran bunch?
Yeah, and so when you look at the leadership from a defensive standpoint, Brandon Martin, you know, Brandon Martin is tough Cardinal #1, you know, and he's earned that mark for a reason. You know, his hard work, his determination, his perseverance. You know, he's been through some trials and tribulations, but he's a tremendous leader for our ball club. Jay Thomas, inside linebackers, had a great career here, and I know obviously, you know, to send those guys out in their final games here, or their final year, if you will, making sure that they leave out of here as a champion. Those guys have brought a lot to the table that way, and so we feel really good about where we're at defensively. You know, and really the temperament, the mindset, the swagger with which we've been playing during the practices here leading up to this Miami game has been really fun to see and exciting to see.
You talk about all these seniors in their final year. NCAA allowing players to come back. This is kind of a free year of eligibility for each player. How does that change your evaluation for years to come?
Yeah, and you know, I definitely don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's certainly exciting to hear, especially when I feel as strongly as I do about this group of 22 men. So when you say that, golly, they get this year, and then if they choose, they can come back an additional year. I don't want to get ahead of myself, because that's certainly exciting to think about having these guys for that length of time. So we're worried about right now taking care of business. Focus is on Miami, but certainly somewhere down the road here we'll have those conversations, and then we'll have to get it figured out, you know, how that impacts the recruiting class coming in for 2021, what adjustments, what tweaks that we'll have to make that way. But you know, I'm just excited for these guys, because I know there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of concern by all of them if they had to make that decision about playing for a shortened season, or do I, you know, not play the shortened season and come back and play in a traditional fall schedule. So I'm happy for all of our student athletes that they didn't have to make that decision, because I know they were certainly concerned about that. So exciting to have football back, exciting, you know, obviously to have a 6-game conference schedule, and then, you know, for us, we have big plans. You know, we got plans to be playing past that 6th game, and we got to play our best football and take care of business, because every one of them's critical. It's a conference-only schedule. You got no time to really knock the rust off, and so we got to be ready to roll here game 1.
You talk about the shortened 6-game schedule, and that kind of plays into the motto for this year's squad. Last year, it was out the mud, and this year, it's Detroit or bust. Describe how the team made the decision to adopt that motto.
Yeah, when you come out of the season last year, and we finished off on a positive note there, beating Miami, and then 2 weeks later, we watched them defeat Central Michigan and become the MAC champion, and so it was hard for our guys to swallow. Obviously, we had a very competitive game here at home against Central Michigan where we didn't deliver in a critical moment there to win that game. We lost that game by a point. It was hard. And so we feel strongly from a confidence standpoint that that could be us if we take care of business. And so it's not a matter of do we have the talent? It's not a matter of do we have the experience. Now it's time for us to put it together and make sure that we deliver in some of those critical moments, those close games in the fourth quarter. Now we have to get over that hump and make sure that we take care of business. So it's the seniors on this team. They're the ones that brought that to me, saying, Coach, this is where we're at. This is where we feel, and I'm 100% all in. And obviously, we issued a bracelet, to every one of these guys with the initials DOB on it to just make sure their motivation stays where it needs to be all off season. When you work, study film, prepare yourself in the weight room. Everything is important when you talk about being able to accomplish that goal of getting there.
Lastly, touching upon special teams, you're replacing a kicker this year, 3 kickers vying for that starting spot. What have you seen from the 3 contenders?
Yeah, and that's been the hardest thing to be able to get that evaluated because we didn't have spring practice, we didn't have a spring game, we weren't really able to have training camp scrimmages like we've had in the past to put those guys in a position where they're in some pressure kicks. And so that competition is still going to be, going up all the way until game day here between Jake Chanove, Jack Knight, and a young guy, Jacob Lewis. Those 3 guys are competing for that spot, and they're all a little bit different in terms of who they are and what their strengths are as a kicker. So we're going to continue to evaluate them here. They've done a lot of really positive things here throughout our time on the practice field. So we'll let that battle go all the way up till game day and see who ends up being the guy that goes out there to attempt that first kick.
So you talk about DOB and all of these great mottos coming from this team. What does it take to bring that type of intensity and focus to a season?
Yeah, we just have to be consistent. Our guys, when you come out to the practice field, they're mentally, they're physically, they're prepared to go on the practice field and make sure that we make the best out of the time that we have together, whether it's an hour-and-a-half practice, hour and 45-minute practice. So that's where it needs to be. Now it's time for us, when we take the field, none of us know what November 4th is going to be like from a weather standpoint. That's not going to affect us, though. We'll be ready, rain, shine, cold, whatever that is. We've been in some games in the past, especially when you have the experience and depth that we do. So we got to get on the field and just play our best brand of Ball State football. Play the way we're capable of. Let our confidence take over, and knowing that we go out and execute and we put our best up on the football field, we feel really good about the result that will come.
It's going to be a fun one in 8 days. Ball State, Miami, CBS Sportsnet, and SportsLink Digital. Coverage starts at 7 next Wednesday. It's going to be a fun one, rain, snow, or sleet. Once again, thanks for joining us, Mike Neu. This has been SportsLink Live, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.